We're like, so, Helge Shulchan Aruch, Yoredeya, Siman Reish Tzadik Bet, is the Siman about Shiluach HaKain, this exotic and Kabbalistically very foundational, physically very only once in a while, mitzvah of Shiluach HaKain, sending away the mother birds. So first of all, we'll just learn a couple halachas. Shiluach HaKain, Ein Noheg Ela, Ba'oif Tahor. The mitzvah is only if it's a kosher bird. A kosher bird. That means the species has to be kosher. If the mother is a treifa, the mother is sick, the mother would not be kosher to eat because of a physical defect, but not because of the species, then there is the mitzvah. Afilu ma'em treifa, afilu ein shamela efroach echad. Even though it says plural, the pasuk says va'em v'zel habanim or lefroichim plural. Even if there's only one egg or one chick that it's sitting on, it's then it's still you still have the mitzvah. Afilu ein shamela efroach echad beitza achas chayv l'shalech. Okay, Sif Beis, we're not going to read the whole Sif because it gets quite complex, but it's having to do with ownership. Kain hamazuman etzloi. If you have a cane that is set up by you in your own property, you own it. Like the turtle doves that is their way to live with people in their houses, or geese or chickens, that they make their home on your property, potter. And then it gets into a whole complex thing about how exactly a person's courtyard is koine, acquires a bird's nest. This today's shaila. This happens if there's a bird's nest in your yard, you have to ask a shaila if your chater is koine, and in which case it's considered mezuman. It's considered to have been set up by you. There's a whole discussion about how the ownership exactly works. Pour me one extra cup today. And so
there's a guy in Brooklyn that goes around and sells the
mitzvah.
The mitzvah.
He finds it. You can't set up the bird's nest, but you have to.
He sets up.
Yeah, you find them. We had
orders.
We had a child. A friend of mine he was a cleaner in a building in Yerushalayim, and there was a bird's nest on the windowsill, on the outside windowsill. And we asked the child about it, and kanireh, that's considered enough outside, and that it's not considered an automatic kinyan. But when it's on the outside windowsill of a building, it's not an automatic acquisition by the owner of the building. And if you specifically, you have to not have kavanah when you see it to acquire it, and so on. It gets a little complex how the ownership works. The point is that if you do own it, then it's mizuman. Then you don't have a mitzvah to send away the mother bird. Then you can take the bird with the mother, no problem. Only if it's ki karei lefanecha baderech, if it happens to you randomly along the way. Okay, now we're going to jump into Reb Nosson for a chunk of time. I haven't done in a long time, is just to read a lot of Reb Nosson together, because his word is so, they're always amazing, but this is good.
Where is it?
This is Shiluach HaKain Halacha Hey, Ois Beis. It is a great general rule that we have to know that we don't know at all. We have to know that we don't know. This is one of the songs, we have to remember to sing this in Simchas Torah. Beautiful song. It's a line in the Zohar Kodesh that Yisrael, the Torah, and Hashem are all one. But then Reb Nosson says the most amazing kind of diuk. We were talking about this actually in Shir on Sunday, because Baruch Hashem now the new kollel is learning tzitzis. We're learning Kut Halachos on tzitzis, and we were talking about this. This is where he says it. In the same way that one cannot grasp Hashem Yisbarach, Because there's no thought that can possibly grasp God. So too can we have there's no way we can grasp mamish what Torah is. It's like beyond, it's a total mystery. We also cannot ever grasp how great the souls of Israel are. How great, like we have no idea who we're sitting with right now. We have no idea who's sitting around this table. We have no idea who we ourselves are, how great we are, how awesome we are. Even the lowest of the low. Every yid is like, just in the same way we can't know God and grasp God, so too can we not grasp the greatness of Mamish every yid. So amazing. And the greatness of the Torah. This is the way I understand how Rabbeinu says in Torah Nun Vav about Purim, the Megillas Esther means revelation of hiddenness, means to reveal that there is mystery. Such a Yeshua, such a refuah. The life isn't all just an open book, I know it all. It's so great when everything's mysterious again, in the sweetest way. So we're going to talk about this, what this whole thing about, reaching that sweet point where you're not baffled and give up, but it's an exciting mystery to know each step you take is real, and yet it's always this infinite thing of going more. Now that's what this is all about. That's what this whole shir is about. That's Hashem is part. We get back to our pasuk Bora Nivs Fasayim. We're going to start saying that's Hashem every year. The whole pasuk with Bora Nivs Fasayim. The first three words. Also, we're going to see how that relates. There's the creation of new words beyond. The Shoma Rachak L'Akar. So says Reb Nosson Zal, given that everything is so beyond and non-understandable and transcendent, so we would have no idea what to do. We'd just be sitting around like, everything's so beyond, and we have no idea. Wouldn't have tefillin, wouldn't have tzitzit. But Hashem loves us so much. Gila Soda Lavoseno, so he revealed there is also Gilui within this whole thing. So important. He did give us a Torah from Moshe Rabbeinu, Asher Hu Heir Eininu V'Hitilan Us Kol Torah V'Mitzvah Sharhim Chayinu L'Kaima Ma'azel Mus Kos Hayadam Talas Anitzchi. We gave us these things. We can learn them. We can put effort. We can understand them. We can actually do it. And yet even so, even though we do know the whole Torah, it's possible if you study hard enough, you could know every mitzvah. You could learn Dal Chal Kishachanach. Rabbeinu said to do that. They do a shtickle every day, go through the whole Dal, go through the Babich Rebbe said to go through the whole Rambam. Right? You could know it. There's a finite amount of words. You could know what's going on. There's always more and more commentaries and so on. But we still don't know all what it is be'emes. As the pasuk says in Torah in Tehillim Kuf Yud Tes, Plois et vosecha al kein nitzarasam nafshi. It's such an unbelievable. There's a pasuk that Rav used against the masculine. It says your Torah, your mitzvahs are wonders, and therefore I really care for them and keep them, because it's just human nature. He says, if the laws are just there so that I won't hurt you and so you won't hurt me, it's just a social contract, then if I have a chance to get away with something, no one really knows, what's the big deal? Why will I really keep it? But if I'm blown away by God and there's something, mamish is a y-axis to this whole thing, and every mitzvah is bringing bracha to the world in ways I can never understand, and growth to my soul and help to every single other human being and creature in the whole world, that the whole world get a little brighter by me putting on film, then I won't skip a day because no one knows. I'll be excited about it. Because your Torah is such a pele, therefore I keep it. And this is Rashi, first Rashi, Shakeni Meshichas Piyu. Oh, Hashem should help me to get back. I used to learn a parak of Shir Shirim every Shabbos Rashi. I highly recommend doing it if you can.
So you become a Sephardi.
Oh, it's to learn Rashi and Shir Shirim is so affirming that Judaism is a relationship with God with crazy ups and downs. It's the most affirming and solid depth. Rashi and Shir, it's Rashi, and it's Shir Shirim Kodesh Kodesh. I convince Hashem to help me and all of us to learn it. So Rashi says, "Yishakeni shekidus piu," might be kissed again by kisses of his mouth. Rashi says, "Legale lanu," just like you did on Har Sinai, but now we want Tamei Torah, Please, that's what we want, that other kiss. We got the first embrace. Great, we have it. We have mitzvahs. But what am I doing when I'm putting tefillin on? What am I doing? What does it mean? Baruch atah Hashem. Hey, you can learn Nefesh Chaim, Perek Beis, which everyone should learn. But what is it? What really is it? What are we really doing? We want the Tamei Torah. Tamei HaMitzvah. So Pnimius HaTorah Sasum V'Nela Mitanu Me'od. It's so beyond us. Al Kain Shichin Lizkor Hetev. We have to know. It's also true in terms of coming close to a tzaddik. That there's what we know. Like you say, oh, I know Rabbi Nachman. I know he said this and that, right? But we have to reignite the mystery that we know and we don't know. This whole image of malachim with the six knafayim that they cover, they uncover. The closer, even though we're getting closer and closer, but we're still really far. This just read to you from, he's basing this in Torah Samech Gimel in the Likutei Moharan. I just read to you from the actual lesson of that Torah. It's not Lashon Rabbeinu, but by Hashem, we have to be related to Hashem on the level of revealed and hidden. We have to mamish cleave and come close to Hashem, as if, so to speak, Hashem is really revealing and really coming close to me. The closer that we get, we also have to be, I'm not worthy. How could this be? We have to be also. The closer we get, we have to mamish know shu rachok me'od Hashem Yisbarach. It's a healthy richuk. It's the mystery. It's right. If you think in my mind, I already got close. I already know all about God. This is actually a sign of no anything at all. If I would know even a little bit about God, I would know mamish light years away. Because that's the sign that the closer you get to Hashem, the more you know who and then you know that you're really truly far don't know anything. This is something that you can only talk so far about such a thing. That the closer you truly get to God, the more you realize how gavaldic far you are. But it's in an exciting way. You meaning both. Yeah. I'm close and afar. The greatness of Hashem cannot be. This is our pasuk. Yeshaya Nun Zayin pasuk. Yotes bechinas megala tefach umachase shekol mishum iskarev misrachik, and the truth of closeness is farness. Okay, this is what I heard from Gedalia Fleer, the Zohar Kodesh. I said it one day a couple of years ago in Shir that there's a Zohar that brings down. It's such a good. One of the all-time greatest gematrias. Karov is gematria rachok, but only when the karov has the vav in it and the rachok does not have the vav in it. He brings in this, yeah? A gavav. So karov is, that means, like you were saying, Eli, that the depth of it is karov, really. But because the vav is with the karov, right? If the vav, that which is the sort of the ois ha'emes, also, so it's the letter of Yaakov Avinu. The Zohar Kodesh, the vav is called the ois of emes. The bottom line is close, but the definition of close is far. What's that? Oh, that's a zach. Not for now. It's a great question. Yael Novi took it. He's going to bring it back. Yeah, that's give out. Give out. So amazing. Everything is mamish. Yeah.
MS says what you were talking about. Talking about doing tshuva on your mitzvahs. If you didn't use the mitzvahs
to know that it was all really from Hashem,
then you have to do tshuva on the mitzvahs.
Amazing. Wow. That's the thing, right? The mitzvahs can make us feel too close and think we did it. It's mine. I'm so close. It's like that's it. We have to mamish do tshuva even on our mitzvahs. It's unbelievable. It's really Hashem who's giving us the koach to it. It's not, yeah.
Cook, Ginsburg is quoting the Cook, saying that shows us all the science, all the science, everything that goes into the Torah, and our choice that we have to choose how pick and choose what to teach our kids, how to teach our kids through the Torah. But but Ginsburg, who's according to the last count, has already written over 90 books.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's one of the great teachers of our generation.
And he's quoting Rav Kook.
That's cool. Rav Ginsburg quoting Rav Kook is pretty cool. Gewalt, Gedolei Olam. So it says Reb Nathan that but we have to know that first of all, that sometimes when Hashem helps you, you have a little sparkling, a glimmer of connectivity, and you have a sense of close Hashem. Even though that's real, it's real, it really is a closeness with Hashem. Hashem is doing great wonders with you to give you that shtick geschmack that you got. It's really real. But don't make the mistake to think, and now I'm done. And now it's going to stay like this forever. Now I'm one of Hashem's inner posse. I got the free pass. I'm in, right? So the Torah that tzaddikim, the closer I am, the truth is I'm so far. Hashem is beyond all understanding. Once again, like even Rabbeinu said, you can't explain this. It's like beyond your language breaks down. That the closer you get, the more you're aware how far you are, and that's positive, and that's a definition of becoming closer. It's very hard to explain that, but we could know it deeply inside. One, by the way, just picture of this is from the Blei Eger. I tried to find it. I'm missing that chelik of Torah Emes, and they don't have it online. Anyway, maybe they have it nowhere I look. He says in Parshas Yisro that all Am Yisrael standing around Har Sinai, not allowed up on the mountain. Moshe Ben is allowed up, but for Moshe, what do you have these images of how it was to connect God? Not light, darkness, thickness of the cloud, choshech, hanan, arafel, av, ha'anan. It's because Moshe Rabbeinu, if anyone else would go up, because we're not really so mamish holding like Moshe, if we would go up, we'd feel like, I got it. It's mine. I figured it out, right? For Moshe, he said it was like there was a brick wall between him and God. Because he was so aware of the difference between him and God. So that's the humility, so aware that it's not me, that it's really I don't deserve this, and it's really only God. So he felt the furthest, therefore he's allowed up the highest. Mamish Gavalt. And this is also true.
It was also Rabbi Ginsburg was also saying, I think it was someone else, was saying, what is the connection on the tefillin? Okay, with the two shins, since you have one shin with 3 uprights, one shin with 4 uprights, and the knot.
Right.
Okay, so that's, without going through all the explanation, that's what connects.
The knot connects the two sides. The 4
sides and the shin. Right, because the 4 shins is the Kabbalistic connection. Right. Who would have understood that? Going back and ask the Bar Mitzvah kid, is your tefillin kosher? Why does it have 3 shins, 3 on one and 4 on the other? Because that's the Kabbalistic explanation.
I think, yes.
That's that was that he brought that out in this week's parsha. That's why.
The knot brings us together. It was Hashem. And it's beyond language, that knot. It doesn't have a parsha in it. The knot is very special. It's just the connection itself.
Out the gematria,
yeah, that's a big Indian there. Yeah. Okay. Even though Hashem is so beyond, we have to know every little bit of closeness really is real love from Hashem that reaches us. It's real. Every step we take, every closeness we reach was real, and Hashem is the Yeshua Netzach, and it really is a Yeshua forever. There's a long way to go for me to really reach what my soul needs to reach. And to I'm skipping, not reading every single word. Avram. This amazing thing. Avram, I mean, he brings examples from Tanakh. These are so amazing. He sees the place of the Akedah, but from afar, mirachok. And also Miriam, merachok. They were looking at the Yeshua from afar. The Medrash brings us down. Hashem promises him. Both of them had, Miriam also had major cognitive dissonance. They both were promised that right, you're going to have a son, it's going to be the whole Klal Yisrael from you. You're going to have a brother, and he's going to call you salvation. And then both of them see them like getting lost, right?
This is in a message?
Yeah, they connect up the rachok. I will find a few after. I don't have the right. Maybe they don't have the right with the lachos that says. And then he sees the place from afar, right? Okay. And then he says, Afal pichen. How could it be? Hello, Ata Molech Yitzchak l'shchita. I'm going to shecht Yitzchak, and Miriam also. She's watching to see what's going to be because she knew somehow she was able to stay afar and hold that place of the dissonance, and still be sure that look, I don't understand how this could be. I don't understand. I know that, but I'm watching. I know Hashem, you're going to do something gewalt. I know Hashem, you're going to do something gewalt. I don't know what.
It's going to be all right.
It's going to somehow v'chein b'chol dor b'chlal zufraz u'prati prejudice. So it is in every generation, and in mamish, the deepest detail of everybody's life. We're all mamish like Miriam sitting there like watching. Avram also. Even after the Yeshua, and this is such an amazing thing. Rashi brings us down while he was coming down from the mountain, having reached. Can you imagine how I would feel? Like Gavalt, somebody made me a l'chaim. Like, thank God I don't have to think about anything scary or anything about Hashem anymore. I did it. I passed the 10th test. Like the Yitzchak's alive. Gavalt, right? What is he thinking? Rashi says, and he doesn't bring the full Rashi here. But Rashi says, Rashi says. He was thinking, Gewalt, I should have got him married. Because if I would have shechted him, he would have been gone. There would be no kid. So Avram, what's his thought on the way back is, how could I have done better before? It's like unbelievable to think such a thought. And what's the next step? I better find him a shidduch fast, right? There's no glass of lemonade. It's not like, oh, now I'm in. It's still, what's the next step? There's still so much more to do. And the truth is, if you look at the rest of history, there were thousands of years of Klal Yisrael still to do. It wasn't over. Imagine if you would have said, now it's over. Chas v'shalom, right? It's like unbelievable. Then he heard Rivka's born, but even still, it's still afar. Because she was only one day old, and Yitzchak is 37, and it's like complex. So there's like, I can't make it all work. Involved, and then burying Sarah Imenu and everything that he faced, right? To watch it from afar, and the whole story of bringing Rivka, sending everything that he had to do.
Explain a little bit, just to understand, not having the rock-likeness of him seeing that he could have done better.
Because now he's so karov, he could have said, I'm done, right? The inyan of karov, that where it becomes problematic, is where you do really achieve something. Hashem gives you something of closeness, and then you think, right, I can hang up my hat. So the fella is that he's still thinking, what's the next step? Or what could I have done before better? And what can I do now? I better find a Rivka. I better set it up. And then he has to bury Sarah, and life goes on. He's not just, even while he's coming down the mountain, he's thinking about the shidduch. So it means he doesn't feel it's over. Maybe
it has something to do with, even while you're subjective, you have to be able to take an objective outlook.
Yeah, step outside yourself also. That's all. It's definitely connected to that.
So Reb Nelson's also saying when he saw the Makkah Mikdash, he saw the future, or he saw Rivka, he saw it's at least 3 years out.
Mm-hmm.
What's that like?
In other words, I'm not sure. In other words, the idea being that he's not done, and there's still so much more to do. So much more to do. And not being fazed by that. He also didn't give up because of that. He had that sweet spot of, okay, Gewalt, I made it through the Akedah. I was going to imagine that. And now that there's still so much more. He was holding that place. done, and Hashem is with me. Hashem gave me that all the brachas that Hashem said. All those unbelievable brachas, and everyone's going to say Har Hashem Yeirah. It's just like Yerushalayim, but I also still have so much more to do. He holding that for the Gavaldik Karav, and also so much more. What do you say?
One of the things that most of us are going through. All right. I made it to my bar mitzvah. Now I'm free.
That's it.
Okay. Now I'm
Graduate.
free. I don't have to go back to Hebrew school anymore.
Right.
All right. All right. And then afterwards we realize what?
Yeah. Right. Or the chuppah. Right. Yeah. Gaval. Okay. So.
All right. You get through Hebrew school, and most of them went to public school.
But then you just went to the next level, right?
And then you get
Exactly.
I'm free.
You're the biggest kid in the school, and then you have the other little
Go to Hebrew school till your bar mitzvah. That's
There
it.
was a Zen master who had a Talmud who said to the Zen master, I want to know how to get enlightened. Tell me the secret forever.
Mhm.
And the master told him to go travel the world and he'll find enlightenment. But he went on his travels and he sent his Rebbe, his master, a letter every month. He sent him a letter. First letter he wrote, wow, it's amazing. I finally found, the beauty of the world and met so many different people. And the master took a letter, ripped it up through it. And another month he writes another letter about how he climbed the highest mountain and he saw and he's like, oh, I found enlightenment. And it takes it and he sighs and he takes the letter, chucks it in his mouth. And this goes on for a while. And eventually, he suddenly doesn't receive any letters from his Talmud. He gets a bit concerned for something happened to him. So he sent another one of his Talmudim, one of his students, to go search for him. A while later, finally the messenger comes back, tells him that he found Talmud. And he asked him, why did you stop writing letters to the master? He said, because there's really nothing. I don't know anything. Nothing. I got to say it.
It's getting somewhere, right? That's it. That's the sinyan. That's it. Mom is related to the sinyan. I mean, here it's about closeness to God. That's a very important difference. But okay.
Rabbi Freifeld used
yeah.
to talk that way.
Mm-hmm.
Rabbi Freifeld used to have, schmoozing like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's such a choshev lesson. So this is also that every day it says, "Afil mi she'en lo das lirois chasadav lishuosav." Hashem is sending every single day chasadim and niflois to us every single day, and even if we can't see it, that is really true, and this is why we have in Shemon Esrei 3 times a day we say b'chol yom al nisecha sheb'chol mimanu al nifloisecha v'tevsecha sheb'chol eis erev vayik mitzorai. I want to put a song to that, but not for now. But right, that in Moedim, right? That we say that your wonders are with us.
When do you say at Hayom? Hayom is at the beginning of Shemon Esrei.
Right, this is also, but he's particularly that every day, every second you're doing such wonders and chasadim with us. And says, and this we have to believe that that's true, even if we don't see it. And that's why when we say Moedeh Ani every morning, it's based on a pasuk in Eicha, Perek Gimel, right? It says, Chadashim Labekayim Rabbu Nasecha. Why does it have to say Rabbu Nasecha at the end? It says, because the pasuk shot is, every morning we're fresh. How great is your ne'emanus to us, that you take care of us, that you give us our souls back, and we have a sense of freshness in the morning, right? Because Rav Nassan, Chadashim Labekarim means that Hashem is doing great wonders for us every day. You don't see it, Rabba Munasecha. Believe it, right? It's right there in the pasuk. It's unbelievable. Rabba Munasecha Shrichim Shielo Emuna Rabba Shebechol Yom Nimshachim Chasadim Niflaim Chadashim. Every day there are great new chasadim, and we don't see them. We have to have little Megillas Esther, the Regili of the Hester, right? Koine Hakol, right? Also.
So how do you translate that? How do you take it into yourself? Beginning of Shemon Esrei.
Very,
A
very
guy
important.
comes over to you and say, hey, how you doing? Yeah, same old, same old. Okay, we're totally
You
different.
can't say that. Right?
Okay, what do we
That
say?
is,
We see the word? That's our goal. So every day is a new day, it's a new creation, it's a new continuation of modality.
Gewaldig. So now he relates it up to the Inyan of sending away the mother bird. This is this Gewaldig thing. The Tikkun is Zohar HaKodesh. There's so much Torah and Kabbalah about this mitzvah of sending away the mother bird. Shumarames al Galus v'tiltul HaShechina. It's talking about the Galus, the exile of the Shechina. That when we are in a state of wandering, and I'm in such exile of my soul, I'm like along the way, right? Like the pasuk describes as the randomness of the encounter with the nest, like we said at the beginning from Shulchan Aruch. Why is it called kol eitz? Big kasha why the pasuk says kol eitz. Kikar lefanecha.
How does it say?
The pasuk says kikare kansipol lefanecha baderech b'chol eitz all haaretz. Right. So
All
pashtus
eitz,
b'chol
all-
eitz pashtus means on
all-
any tree, right?
Uh-huh.
On any tree or on the ground, right? But in Zohar, the Tikkun Zohar says kol eitz means that the eitz adas, eitz chaim are all grown into each other. You can't tell what's what. You're in like this state of confusion, and the tree of life and the tree of knowledge are all intertwined. Kol eitz ilna dechayil in the moisar dan kulim varim etzlo v'lo biram la freedom zemizem v'chim zem zeu o al haaretz or on the aretz. If it's lying on the ground, shitachas hakashmis, like physicality. Afal pichein mazmin lo, but still Hashem has that you randomly encounter. Like this is like the inyan of this is the place in Torah. There's also a shakarcha baderech, there's Amalek. But the random encounter, but this is the one that is giving you a chance to mamish fix everything. You're able to find eggs, which is the way I'm translating it is your unborn possibilities, your unborn qualities that are still yet. As Elaim Bashir Yaron, this part, some part of you is mute and hasn't sung yet. And Efroichim is the childlike energy that's in you that's just waiting to burst out. Efroichim, Mari Mishnah, Beitzim is Mari Mikra, the Zohar Kodesh is like different levels of development where you know Psukim, you know Mishnah, but you don't yet know Gemara. You don't yet know like the real full explorational excitement of the playground of Shas. That just came down now. Shashulei Teras Shashuai. The lace Godfin, they don't have wings yet. They don't have wings, or they do, but their wings can't fly yet. Like this Godfin Shleimi, the mother's there. Bina, Tikra Shibchinas Shchinta, Yilash, Shibchinas Klalis, Gimel Rishonis, that's Chacham, Bina Das, all of them included within Bina. That we cannot try to understand, and this is why we have to shoo away the mother birds. We try to understand it all right away. I found some little mitzvah I can do, some egg. I can start to do some epis, and now I've figured it all. I'm taking the mother. No. You have to send to it. Don't try to figure out. Now I have something. Baruch Hashem. But I'm still on my path. I still have so much more to do, right? Send away the mother. That's a big Indian in it. Just send away the bina. Even though Hashem sends us along the way, what are we doing? We have it all set up. We know what we're doing. The mitzvahs and Torah that comes our way, it's like random. We just like we encounter. But I wake up in the morning like billions of things are going on in our minds, and like, oh yeah, also Shachris. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna chop around. You know, it's like a random thing, even though it's like every day, it's still random. Everything's random. Our whole door is like splintered, and it's just like one big kaleidoscope. What? Yeah.
The program like the
Yeah, the little bit of chickle. It's really this wondrous high thing. Every little thing that we encounter, each person, each conversation, each thing, every little thing is mamish. Hashem is from a great distance. From a great distance is Hashem sending us this bread these experiences. The mother is a very high thing. To Amadis Kasya, the hidden world, hero Vetel of a basic these the Torah mitzvahs that we can get to. And Hashem sets it up that even me, so far away in my random life, whoa, I get to this mitzvah. The whole world is constantly changing, constantly flowing, and Hashem is setting up this indescribably complex and beyond universe, such that each one of us gets new opportunities and new doorways. The Ram doesn't write another place in Pasuk B'chalav Hey that because Hashem is Mechades B'chol Yom, therefore there's no raya from yesterday. Yesterday I had such a hard time, but today's a constant world. There's no proof that because yesterday things were hard, that today is going to be hard. Don't take that, mother. Which is the depth of the understanding. Don't try to figure it all out now. Even though it really does come from there, that all these things happen, there is a great thing, there is a great hisbainus that a person can reach, but we're not ready yet. The lace gavin don't have yet wings to fly. You cannot take the mother to try to understand and figure it all out. Even though Hashem has helped me very much, these great things, the eggs and the chicks. I'm nowhere near any kind of actual understanding of what's going on. Cannot make that mistake. He's Bananus Elyon, the sense of what's really going on. The true Yeshua, the final Yeshua. You can take these energies, that yes. Take these opportunities and rock and roll with the opportunities, that absolutely. The Torah and the mitzvahs Hashem sends you in your life. Take them, make them grow, let them become full, mature birds. But these bonus, this is far from us. And then he says, Kirka, this is prat l'mezuman, but this is as opposed to if you own it, like we said in Shulchan Aruch and Halacha. What's the meaning of owning it? If you own it, you're allowed to take the mother. He says, Misha mezuman etzlo b'chinas kansipor, somebody whose mamish reached the level of the kansipor, which is this high thing. Indian of kansipor in the Torah is like the highest place in Shemayim. He's worked so hard that he's able to actually set up holiness. He has an actual seder to his life, like not just times in the day. He mamish knows what he's doing. There are like very few yechidei hador who have that kind of level. That such a person can take the mother with the babies. And then he spells this out. Skafaldic thing in Ois Zayin. He says that this is the inyan of the difference between Hanukkah lights and Shabbos candles. Hanukkah lights, you're not allowed to take any pleasure from the light, right? But Shabbos, you are allowed. So Hanukkah light is to know that Hashem is with me, but I don't know. I can't use this. I haven't figured it all out. I'm still far, right? That's most of us. But we all also get a taste of Shabbos, a little bit of the Tzaddik's world on Shabbos. Look at this. It's Dibur Maschil Al Kain in Isaiah, right? Al Kain. So he says. Al Kain Oisim or Ner Shabbos Kol Tashmishim. You're allowed to use the Shabbos. And this is something that has an actual mamish halachic dimension. The bracha of Hadlik Ner Shel Shabbos Kodesh. The Tzitz Eliezer brings down Chilik Aleph Ois Chaf Aleph that in Hungary there is a minhag that the whole family gets together while the Ima lights the candles and everyone listens to the bracha and says Amen. Wow. Very beautiful thing. And Kedei Latzei Yedei, why? He says, where did that minhag come from? You know why I think? It's because they're making a bracha on Oneg, on the mitzvah of Oneg. It's unbelievable. And there's a Meiri over here in Shabbos Daf Chaf Hey. He says, "The Hadlakas Ner Shabbos Hu Rosh L'Chol Oneg She'ein Oneg Below Ora." That's Lashon HaMeiri in to Shabbos Daf Chaf Hey. No Oneg without light. That's it. That it brings light. Rashi brings down that we're lighting. Tosfos brings. Rashi says kavod has the mishum oneg, and it's also the Torah's Shabbos brings this down. Also, Siman Reish Samach Gimel Sif Kat and Zayin. There's no bracha on the mitzvah of oneg because there's no davar misuyam, but we make the birkas haneros ayidei yotze yidei birkas kol tanuge Shabbos. That's an incredible thing. There's a bunch of Torahs about this. So says Reb Nosson ki yesh lanu koach al yedei ha'or hazeh shel Shabbos. That light of the Shabbos candle is a big inyan. Look at the Shabbos candle when you make kiddush. As much brought in Shulchan Aruch. Lahal, and to look at the kois also, try to find a way to look at both. It's like Chanukah and Purim, we spoke about this once. What do you look at the
kois for?
The kois shel bracha, it's a seven I'm getting into right now.
You do it on the dollar also.
Yeah, the cloud, you turn in up a coast, every kois shel bracha. There's certain things Yiddishkeit wants you to look at. Baruch Hashem. So he says, this is all. So he said, where to explain this? It's he said, might have been earlier, later. 1 second, sorry. It says, it comes in such a high place. The Alkane, a few lines up. The Alkane also on Chanukah, you can't use the light. Or it comes down to reach us on a Yom Chol from such an exalted place. You can't use it at all. And that's like the Indian sending away the mother bird. You can't try to figure it out. You can't integrate. You just, wow, you know?
Which is why the word tikaf is chukas.
Oh, gewaldig, beautiful. Aval ner Shabbos, but the candle of Shabbos, she'az olin kol alamas lamal lamala on Shabbos, we're not the same. All the worlds are going up. The only thing that doesn't change on Shabbos is the thinnest outside of the outside of the. So it looks like we're in the same world. We're mamish not in the same world on Shabbos. It matters that the reason kon kol alamas lamal lamal ki asiya ol yitzir tzir lebriya v'azay madlikim ner b'makon gavoa. So therefore, this candle of the light of understanding of Shabbos is in such a high place. The Sitra Achra, Ein la Sitra Achra Achiza Sham, Machmas Kedusha Shabbos. So every Shabbos, it's mamish like, like Avdali says, I need a drink on my way to the bar. We need Mashiach. We have to wait till, like Rashi says, that the Gilui, and we have to throw away the mother's bird, and we have to, but like at least once a week, we need a drink on our way to the bar. So it was not yet Mashiach, but we have Shabbos. We need to take. We need it very badly. Okay, mutter lishtamish la'oira, and this is like the eating of Oneg Shabbos and. Okay, now we're just going to finish off with Ois Chaf, a little bit further on, about the pasuk Boranias Fasayim and how this whole thing relates to Yisraelis. And I just want to yeah.
I just noticed that in Parshas Chukas, it uses the word equal, but it's talking about taking the paraduma.
Right. Taking.
So
right.
There you should take
without understanding.
It's mima.
Right.
It's mima.
You take it. It's mima without understanding. So ois chaf, right? Mishin oisen lev l'daklavin perish amilasam. But this pasuk in Yeshaya, right? The pasuk Yeshaya is talking about Perek Nun Zayin. All the prakim at the end of Yeshaya are just gold, unbelievable. Prakim about the Yeshua and how things are going to be so amazing. So the Perek Nun Zayin pasuk Yud says Bora Nivs Fasayim Shalom Shalom L'Rachel V'Korav Amar Hashem Rafasi. That Bora Nivs Fasayim, all the Mefarshim, Mamish, everyone, Malbim may be a little slightly different, but pretty much everybody, Rashi, everyone says Hashem's going to create new words that everyone is going to say to Am Yisrael that Hashem is with us all the way through, whether we're close, whether we're far, right? Shalom, right? Through everything we're going through, right? So this is Shalom, Shalom. The Nivs Fasayim is about people, the world, what they'll say about us. Almost all the Mefarshim went that way. Says Reb Nosson, an unbelievable thing. He says, Mishnas and Levi, look at this pasuk. Yochel havin mize eitzos lischaz bin esicha can get from here tremendous eitzos to be strengthened in the union of his vaidus of talking to Hashem in our own language. Is that ikar tikun, which is the essence of this fixing about close and far. When we're really doing his vaidus, you're living this. It's the knot of the tefillin, like I said. That kibasicha na yochel lefarish akol lifnei. You could talk everything out. And you could talk about how far, and you could also have talked about wanting to be close, and the whole thing, it works. Bez Hashem, when we're doing it. I did the dafka. Did she score? I said, "Ribu brachu b'li shiur kasher gilu lanu v'senu zal." Aval apiroiv hasicha be'atza. That the trouble is, actually getting those words out, getting there and doing it is hard. Kasha me'oid. Because I feel so far. Ein lo diburim. I can't even get a word out. I feel just like embarrassed or just stumped, just not like who am I? What are they? Just I can't. How can I even say anything to God? As known to anybody who actually tries to do it, right? Right? You try it once, it might go, but if you really try to do this on the hergel, you're going to encounter that it's not so pasha. And that's the Rebbeinu. He's your lanus zal, but you stick with it, do it. You can do it. Harbe. He was like very, very strong on this. Just the hachana. Even if you just show up and don't say anything at all, even that has tremendous power. Even this is tremendously of great value. And there's, by the way, I have a note over here from the one time of Hanukkah. The Pri Megadim is bringing down from the Medrash that why is Hanukkah Chaf Hey is because the Nesiim were ready to bring their kabbanas that day. Just they only brought it Nisan. They had to be delayed. They built the Mishkan right after Yom Kippur. Everything was ready by then. They were ready, but they pushed it off. So the wanting to, without doing it, it was the spiritual imprint of Hanukkah. It was unbelievable. Gamzeya karma, that's proof of how powerful just wanting to even without doing it. Gamzeya karma odetzois barach. Ve'im yechazak b'zeh harbe, and Rabbeinu also brings down in the Sichas from Shulchan Aruch and the Magen Avram. In Hilchos Kriyas Shema, the way happens if I'm in a place that is so gross, I'm not allowed not only to say the Shema, I can't even think the Shema because it's so gross. What do you do there? The Magen Avram says you should wish you could say the Shema. It's unbelievable. Rabbeinu says from there, like you see, Yakav, that's like the whole Yiddishkeit in that show. When everything's all down, right? All the cards are down. I could wish I'm saying the Shema. And these Baidudas also just show up, just try, just wish I could be doing it. Hashem will create for you words. That's boirei nims fasayim. Boirei nims boirei mamish. I know I had nothing to say, and I was so bad. I know this, right? Those words, when he's this happens, when you're sitting there and it's been days or weeks or it's just been blah, and then suddenly it's God creating words in your mouth. Try at least to prepare and show up and try. Hashem will send words into your mouth. That's why and Hashem creates the words in you so that you could have that sense of real peace of this paradox, but greatest wonderful thing of being close and far. And or a fasiv, Amar Hashem, or Hashem saying, I'm going to take care, I'm going to give you a fuah, you're going to have that sweet spot of the mystery and the closeness and the farness, all the best. That is how we're going to get to the Shalom Shalom Korov. All we can do is set our heart up, and then Hashem gives us the words. To wish I could, and Hashem will put you the diburim. Hashem, that's every Shemon Esrei. Hashem's fasai tiftach. Every Shemon Esrei.
We're not asking. We're reminding ourselves what the Mitzias is. Hashem's
Final thing, just Rashi HaKadosh says on the next pasuk about building a house. This is just a bracha for us. He says, "Im kayamta mitzvah shilach hakein." If you do this mitzvah of shilach hakein, then the random thing, and you're able to do this, and then what's going to be? Sof chalivnos bais chadash u'tekayim mitzvahs makeh. As meduyik in the pasuk, it says kitivne bais chadash ve'asisa makel gagecha. Right? Velo tasim damim ve'asisa is descriptive, and you will make, right? Because the whole thing is a lesson of blessing. Hashem, you're going to have a house, you're going to build a makkah, you're going to have a field. So mitzvah gereres mitzvah tegil lekerem sadeh begadim naim. All the list of things that come after this are all things that are the opposite of like a random mitzvah of throwing away the mother bird. It's like a house, a field, an orchard, clothing, animals. Why? Because when we can get to do this, then all the beauty of real life opens up for us, and our house is a new house, and our field is a field again, and our clothes are clothes again. And there's a Hashem. Amen.
Planning to make one this.
Oh yes, Mazel Tov.